Be Wealthy and Smart, episode 1626.
Step into a world of wealth and financial freedom without budgets, boredom, or bosses on Be Wealthy and Smart. And now, here's your host, Linda P. Jones.
Welcome to Be Wealthy and Smart. I'm Linda P. Jones, America's Wealth Mentor, empowering women and men worldwide to financial freedom. On today's show, we're going to talk about the results of the Schwab 2025 Modern Wealth Survey, which was just published a few days ago on the Investopedia website. It says Americans say you need $2.3 million to be wealthy and $839,000 to be financially comfortable, according to Schwab's 2025 Modern Wealth Survey. But that number measures aspiration, not financial health. Wealth isn't just income. Net worth, debt load, retirement savings, and financial flexibility all shape how secure you actually are. According to the latest figures available from tax year 2022, the top earners had the following adjusted gross income. The top 10% earners made $178,611 or higher. The top 5% made $261,591 or higher. And the top 1% made $663,164 or higher. These amounts vary sharply by state. For the 2022 tax year, the District of Columbia and Connecticut had the highest top 1% thresholds at about $992,000 and $976,000 respectively, followed closely by Massachusetts, California, and New Jersey. On the other end, residents of West Virginia, $384,000, Mississippi, $406,000, and New Mexico, $417,000, needed far less to crack the top 1% in their states. The top 1% threshold is about 8 times the median household income of $81,604 as of 2024, which is the latest available from the U.S. Census. Then they show a chart of growing economic inequality and says since 1989, the share of American household wealth held by the top 0.1% has increased by more than 60%. For comparison, all but those in the remaining top 1% of wealth saw their share of national income fall. The share of those in the 99% to 99.9% range increased about 20%. Those whose wealth is in the 90% to 99% range fell 4.1%. Those in the 50 to 90% range fell 17%, and the bottom 50% of the population has fallen about 46% in its share of the national wealth. Then there are other measures of wealth. Wealth and income are two different things. Income is what you or your household earns each year. Wealth is the assets you hold. Summer Broadhead, an advisor at EverThrive Financial Group, said when people think of rich, they think immediately of a dollar figure, an income, but it goes beyond that. I have clients with millions of dollars in their retirement accounts, but I look at them and think they're going to be in trouble because their expenses are so high. And then I have clients who have a few $100,000 and I don't worry about them at all because they know how to control their expenses, Broadhead says. An individual with a high income could still have a low net worth if they are carrying significant debt. A surgeon earning $400,000 with $800,000 in student loans and a jumbo mortgage may have a lower net worth than a teacher who paid off their house and invested steadily for 20 years. Your net worth is the total value of all your assets, your home, savings, investments, minus liabilities, mortgage, student loans, credit card balances. It gives you a more complete picture of your financial health than income. To increase your net worth, Broadhead suggests tackling debt, especially high-interest debt such as credit card debt. She also finds that clients who invest early, even if it's only small amounts at first, build significant wealth over time. Make sure you're investing wisely. If all your money is sitting in cash, it's not going to keep up with inflation, which will be detrimental over your lifetime, Broadhead said. Retirement savings are another way to measure how rich you are, especially if you join the ranks of 401k millionaires. If you start setting aside money in a tax-advantaged account early in your career, the longer compounding has to work. Even just a small amount can make a big difference if you start early. You can always increase your savings as your income grows, Broadhead said. An important element of adding to your net worth through retirement savings is living within your means. Average total consumer debt stood at $104,755 as of mid-2025, down slightly from $105,580 a year earlier, according to Experian. Home equity lines of credit, HELOCs, grew 9% year over year, the largest increase of any category, as homeowners borrowed against rising property values. Average credit card balances are up to $6,735 from $6,699 a year earlier, as average APR is near 22%. Carrying little or no debt frees up income for saving and spending, which for many people is what feeling rich actually means. In 2025, about 24% of U.S. households live paycheck to paycheck, according to a Bank of America Institute analysis. The squeeze hits hardest at lower incomes. 29% of lower income households spent almost all their earnings on necessities, up from 27% in 2023. But higher earners aren't immune. About 19% of higher income households also live paycheck to paycheck, a pattern Bank of America economists attributed partly to lifestyle creep. Few feel rich living paycheck to paycheck, but if your living expenses are well below your income, you can increase both your actual wealth and your sense of living well. You don't need a top 1% income to build real wealth. A paid-off mortgage, a growing 401k, and expenses that leave room to breathe, that's wealth many income figures can't capture. I think that article sums up things very well. In order to build more wealth, you have to invest. And if you invest well, you don't have to invest as much money. If you don't invest well, you have to invest a lot more money. So one of the most important decisions you can make is investing in areas that will get your money working harder for you so you don't have to work so hard. If you haven't yet subscribed to Be Wealthy and Smart, hit the subscribe button and you'll be notified as soon as new podcasts are available. And all of my podcasts are on my website at lindapjones.com/podcasts. And while you're there, sign up for my weekly newsletter for more wealth tips for your financial freedom. That's all for today. Until next time, live the good life and be wealthy and smart.
Thank you for listening to Be Wealthy and Smart with Linda P. Jones. Share the wealth and tell your family and friends about the show. Check out our website, blog, and social media for more riches at www.bewealthyandsmart.com.